Have you ever wondered how a quiet observer, blending into the background, can uncover the deepest truths about life? Today we are exploring the spectator's account of himself, a fascinating glimpse into the mind of an observer who sees it all. Let's dive in. Hi, it's Yasin Ahmed. I hope you guys are doing well by the grace of Almighty Allah. Today I'll be discussing the spectator's account of himself, which was the prologue to the Spectator series. In this account, Mr. Spectator shares his quote unquote personal informations to help readers better understand the series. Through this, Addison introduces us to the persona of the Spectator, the fictional narrator of the entire periodical. In my previous video, I gave an overview of the Spectator. If you haven't watched it yet, the link is in the description. What the Spectator's account of himself is about? In Joseph Addison's essay, The Spectator's Account of Himself, published in the Spectator on March 1, 1711, Addison introduces the persona of the Spectator, the fictional narrator of the periodical. This essay serves as the inaugural piece of the series and establishes the character's personality, purpose, and perspective. It reflects Addison's wit, humor, and keen observation of human nature, laying the groundwork for the publication's mission to entertain and instruct. Summary of the Spectator's account of himself. To satisfy the curiosity of the readers who often want to know personal details about the writer of a book, Mr. Spectator shares some information about himself to help people understand the book better. First, he talks about his childhood. He was born on an estate that he inherited from his father. This estate had been passed down from father to son for generations without being divided. Before he was born, his mother had a dream that he would grow to be a judge, and after he was born, his serious behavior as a child seemed to fulfill her expectations. He was a good student, and his schoolmaster was pleased with his performance. At university, he stayed quiet most of the time, speaking only occasionally. He was such a hard-working student that he became familiar with almost every book. Next, he talks about his foreign travels. Leaving university after his father's death, he set out for a Europe tour. His main purpose during these travels was to learn and know something new from every place he visited. One place that particularly fascinated him was Egypt. He was curious about the pyramids and the controversies surrounding them, so he went there to see them for himself. Back in London, he spent time visiting almost all the popular public spots. Despite having many friends, he preferred visiting coffee houses and observing the conversations and events happening around him. He also explored London's famous theatres. Whenever he was around people, he didn't talk much. Instead, he listened and observed. This habit helped him develop sharp observational skills. He could even spot mistakes in games that the players themselves couldn't notice. Interestingly, he never aligned himself with any political party. He believed that someone like him, who had gathered knowledge and experience, should share it with the public. But instead of speaking with them directly or sharing his ideas orally, he decided to write every morning about his thoughts and experiences. Writing gave him a way to connect with people, and he would satisfy himself by saying that his life had not been wasted. Lastly, he mentions that he doesn't want to reveal his identity or share too many personal details about himself. What are the key themes of this essay? Number 1. The spectator's personality. The spectator describes himself as a quiet, observant figure, preferring to blend into the background rather than actively engage in social interactions. He characterizes himself as a bachelor who spends his time in contemplation and observation, a trait that allows him to analyze society impartially. Do you ever feel like an observer rather than a participant in the world around you? Well, I do often. Here's a quote that resonates deeply with this idea. I live in the world rather as a spectator of mankind than as one of the species. This line offers a striking perspective on observing life rather than deeply participating in it. It challenges us to think about how we view ourselves in the relation to the world around us. Number two, purpose of the spectator. The spectator's primary aim is to provide moral and social commentary. He seeks to entertain and educate readers by offering insights into human behavior, societal norms, and current trends. His tone is light-hearted, yet purposeful, aiming to improve or reform society through satire and reflection. Number three, diversity of experiences. The spectator claims to have traveled extensively and interacted with people of various social classes, providing him with a broad perspective on human nature. Despite this, he remains detached, acting as an impartial observer rather than an active participant. Here's a key quote to consider. I have acted in all the parts of my life as a looker on. This perfectly encapsulates the theme of observation and detachment. Number four, neutrality and impartiality. The spectator emphasizes his neutrality, positioning himself as a figure who does not align with political or social factions. This allows him to appeal to a broad audience and maintain objectivity. Here's a key quote that perfectly captures this theme. There's no place of general resort wherein I do not often make my appearance. Sometimes I am seen thrusting my head into a round of politicians at wills and listening with great attention to the narratives that are made in those little circular audiences. This quote highlights how the spectator positions himself as a keen observer, always present but never fully involved, just listening and observing. It's a reminder of how sometimes stepping back can offer the clearest perspective. Number five, humor and self deprecation. The essay showcases Addison's use of humor and self deprecation to establish the spectator's persona as modest and relatable. This approach helps him connect with readers and engage their attention. What are the stylistic features of this essay? Number one, conversational tone. Addison employs a friendly and accessible tone, making his ideas relatable to a wide audience. Number two, humor and irony. Subtle humor permeates the essay, highlighting the absurdities or oddities of human behavior without harshness. And number three, aphoristic statements. The essay is peppered with quotable lines that encapsulate profound observations in a concise manner. Quick recap of the Spectator's account of himself. Joseph Addison's The Spectator's account of himself introduces the character of the spectator as a quiet, observant, and impartial figure. With wit and humor, Addison establishes the purpose of the spectator to entertain and educate readers by reflecting on human behavior and societal norms. In fact, his sole motive behind this was to reform the society. Through the spectator's detached yet relatable persona, Addison lays the foundation for a periodical that blends humor, moral commentary, and cultural critique, offering timeless insights into the human condition. I believe it was Joseph Addison's own account of himself. What do you think? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. That's all for today. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like it, share it with your friends, and subscribe for more. Until next time, take care. Khuda Hafiz.